What's up, everybody? In this video, I'll be showcasing my internal operations and automations that I leverage to automate my entire sales funnel. And how we'll be doing this is by walking through all of the different stages in my deal pipeline and the automations associated with those different stages. And by the way, before we even get into the stages, we first have to create the deal. And so the very first way that we create a deal is from our smart lead cold outreach efforts. And so whenever we are approaching leads via smart lead, they're going to be categorized in one of these categories the moment that they reply. And so what we're looking for is the positive sentiment categories. The moment they're categorized here, we are going to, if there are clients' leads, we're going to notify our client in either platform that they use. But if there are leads, we're going to add them as a deal inside HubSpot. And so once this deal is created, we are then going to go through all of these different stages. And so now, the stages that we use, as you can see, a lot of them have similarities with the smart lead stages, but the later ones like meeting booked, meeting held, proposal sent, these ones are not inside our smart lead account. And the ones that are look like transferred or meeting ready, these ones are not in our HubSpot account. And so what we're actually doing is we're doing a two-way sync with the earlier categories, and then after a certain point, the two-way sync stops, and then all of the leads are just handled through HubSpot until they're either won or closed, and then the two-way sync comes back. And so the next thing I want to show you is another way that we create the deals inside HubSpot. And so we have several methods of getting leads. The first way is on our website. People can click on this contact us button and they're going to get a form that they can fill out. The next way is this CTA pop up over here, which is like want exclusive automations. They can subscribe to the newsletter as well. The third way is a subscribe to the newsletter as at the bottom of the page as well. And then even in the free stuff section, we have a lead magnet that offers up to 100 automations completely for free, and people can sign up to a newsletter as well. And so what that's going to do the moment that they sign up is it's going to put them into this automation right here. So this automation does two things. It identifies the different types of leads. And so it identifies either the newsletter leads or the non-newsletter leads. And so a non-newsletter lead would be someone that looked at the contact us page and then they filled out this form, or someone that looked at the pricing page, they saw that this looks good to them and then they clicked contact us. This type of lead is the best, most ideal lead for us, and we want them on a meeting right away. The newsletter lead, on the other hand, they're usually warm but not ready to go right away. And so what we're going to be doing with those leads is actually sending them to a smart lead campaign for an automated sequence. And so I've actually just started creating this campaign, so it's completely blank, but this is the idea that I'm going for. We're going to first of all ask them for something very small, which is like a Google review or something of that nature. Just like, hey, give me something. You've received some value from me. Something very small, like 5 minutes of their time. And then a few days later, we're going to give them free value. And this is going to be like really big value. We're going to try to give them the best thing possible. And then on a few days after that, we're going to do a medium ask. And so this might manifest in a meeting or something of that nature. And then we're going to give them free value, and then an ask again, and then whatever, right? And we just keep going until the end of time. Not really, but that you get the idea, right? And so those types of leads, the newsletter leads, we want to keep our manual efforts minimal. Another way we are going to be contacting them is by leveraging the HubSpot marketing emails, and so we can actually send them marketing emails like this. But this is usually manual. It's when I have a specific campaign that I want to run. But for the most part, evergreen campaign, this is what we're going to be going for. The non-newsletter leads, we're going to automatically create a deal for them and then create a task to follow up with the lead. And so this is what the task is going to look like. It's going to be like a simple email task, which is just like, hey, follow up with inbound lead. Now, this is phase one of this entire automation strategy. So phase two is actually going to remove this entirely. It's going to be completely automated. So a day from now, it's going to check, has the person booked a meeting? If they have not booked a meeting, we're going to follow up with them. And then 3 days later, it's going to check, and then it follows up with them automatically. And then 3 days later, follows up with them automatically. So phase one includes a little bit of manual work over here, but we're going to be getting rid of that. And so we've just gone through how to create the deals. And we've also gone through the two-way sequence, which happens with the earlier stages, like sequenced, information request, interested, etc. Now, the next part of this is moving the leads over into the meeting booked section. This is something that happens automatically the moment leads book meetings with us. And so one of the ways that we are able to identify that leads have booked meetings with us is by leveraging the HubSpot meetings tool. And so the HubSpot meetings tool simply just looks for all scheduled meetings. And so all scheduled meetings are going to be inside here, including the ones that are not booked on the HubSpot calendar. And while we're on that point, let me actually explain how that works. And so this is going to be checking for my Google Calendar events. So every single event that's happening inside my Google Calendar. And then what we're actually going to be doing is looking for the specific contact on that event. If there's multiple contacts, we're going to be looking for those multiple contacts. And then we're going to be looking for the meetings associated with that specific contact. If there is no meeting associated with them, we're going to log a meeting. And so um, this HubSpot automation is actually going to be showing every single meeting that we have. And so next up is, once we have the meeting, we're going to get the contact, look for the calendar event, and then send a Slack notification to ourselves if we have a filter over here which checks that the activity has happened. So the meeting has happened. So if the meeting has happened, we're going to be sending a Slack notification to ourselves. This Slack notification is going to look something like this, where now we just have to simply disposition it as a show or no show, show or no show, show or no show. That's super simple, very easy. If you have 100 of these meetings, it's a pain to do. And so I've actually just like automated that particular portion to get started. But after the first section of doing this, you only get like a few of these a day. So it's very easy to do. And so once we disposition it as a show or no show, it's going to go into the step two of this automation. The step two of this automation simply updates that meeting record. And so by updating the meeting record, we're actually just going to be updating the outcome. And so previously it was scheduled, and now it's either completed or no show. And maybe we'll do a reschedule and no cancel, but right now we just focus on those two particular ones. And so once this happens, we're actually going to get the deal and progress it over onto the next stage, assuming, of course, that the stage is not either of these. And so when we go back to the deal pipeline, we've got the meeting booked stage. And so if it's any of these other stages, we're going to move it. Oh, actually, I've just gone a few steps ahead. So the show or no show is moving it from the meeting booked to the meeting held. The meeting booked is actually happening on the step one, I believe. Um, Oh no, it's happening on the calendar. The meeting booked. Right, it's here. So get a deal, update deal. When we update a deal from Google Calendar, this is what's moving it over to the meeting booked. And okay, so there we go. So the Google Calendar moves it to meeting booked if it's any of the previous stages, and then the Slack change, which is show or no show, moves it to meeting held. And then to move from meeting held to proposal sent, that happens the moment a contract is sent. And so when we send a contract, it's going to leverage this automation over here. This is going to watch all of the contracts that are being sent out from our DocuSign account. And then the moment that they're sent out, it's going to look for the recipients, search for them in HubSpot, get the deal associated with them, and then move the task over to proposal sent, assuming, of course, that it's not closed, right? And so we should actually have a stage over here that says it's not closed. And so I'll do that after this. And so If it's not closed, we're going to move it over to proposal sent. Something else that we are doing, by the way, that I am really liking is having a category that just says like contract signed, not signed, or things like that. And so this is another thing that we're going to be doing that keeps track of the DocuSign status so that we can do automated reminders. So again, this is phase one. It includes a little bit of manual work, but in the coming weeks, we're going to be automating a lot of these things. And one of the ways we're going to be automating reminders is by doing using this over here. And the next thing, and by the way, DocuSign does have automated reminders inside it, so that's also something I'm going to be using. But besides the point, next thing we do is we move it to closed won and closed lost, depending on the reasoning. And so if it is closed lost, the only thing we want is a closed lost reason. And so what were they unresponsive, too expensive, chose competitor, not a priority, not qualified? We want to just know what happened so that we can reflect on our entire strategy. The next thing we want to do is if they are closed won, we're going to check for that property. So what we're looking for is that the contract is signed. And so we cannot move a deal to close one unless the contract is signed. Boom, easy. And then the other thing that we are doing, we are automating the stage for close one. And so what this is, it's just an internal email, which this internal email is just great job on closing client, create the client inside ClickUp and begin the onboarding process. Now, this part is manual. I think it's fine, to be honest, because that's only just a few minutes. But we can automate it. I mean, it's who cares? But what that's going to do, that's going to create this client onboarding automation. And so this client onboarding automation is going to enable us to uh, create their Google Drive. It's going to enable us to add them to Stripe. It's going to enable us to create a Slack channel. And if they are a lead gen client, it's going to enable us to add their properties to HubSpot, add them to Smart Lead, create them in Clay, Sheets, everything, right? So everything regarding the client onboarding process, it's going to do that. And obviously, I've made tons of videos on my service delivery process, so I'm not going to go any further than this because the sales funnel is over. We close the client and now we get into the service delivery side of things. And so I hope this video was helpful. If you learned something, leave a like. If you have any questions, leave a comment, and I wish you're having a wonderful day. Bye.